Pisces, hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Pisces, y'all got the tear, the warrior, the Nados, the vision, and the stone. Oh, I just feel, the warrior is just the idea of being triggered, right? Just triggered. And I feel like Pisces, well, my poof poofs, y'all poof because you don't want to get stuck, right? Because you're so outside of the confines of regimented mentalities or organized religions, or you know what I mean. I just feel like you're like can't be held behind those boundaries, those walls, and yet, in spite of feeling that way, there's still a lot to learn from all of these organized things, or you know what I mean. So it's like you have to kind of find that balance between, like honoring and respecting like other people's practices while simultaneously, like not losing yourself to it, because why would you do that, right? Like you're doing something that other people aren't doing, and you're experiencing things in ways that other people don't experience them. And I think that that's been a really frustrating experience for you across the board in a lot of ways. There's just like, there's no getting around it. It's been an energy, and it's been an emotional roller coaster, and it's just kind of a lot of just really wanting to be free from it all. I want to anchor into my vision, right? I am anchored into like the journey of my vision. And I just feel like it's difficult sometimes for people to understand a Pisces when they say that, because you're so fluid, you're so, like ephemeral, that it's like, what's the tangibility behind that vision? And I feel like you have been creating the tangibility behind your vision, and you're anchored in that. And so I don't know, I almost feel like this pull, but like this pull almost seems to snap you back to where, like back into the alignment of your vision. Because the idea of the stone is that like you're anchored in, and that, like, well, there's like the concept of a string being attached to the stone, and the string can, kind of go around. And I feel like you've gone around, you've poofed, you've learned, you've taken in, like taken an understanding and an interest in, various things, so that you could bring them all back in, and apply them to you, right? Because that's part of what you've been doing is learning and understanding and growing. Because I think we've had to, in a lot of ways, face our shadows. And when we're forced to face our shadows, we're forced to deal with our own shit. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like the more we deal with our own shit, by learning through others, like how we can handle these things, and how we can, like approach it, and skills and exercises and knowledge, and, like all the things that can bring us back to ourselves again, because we haven't felt like ourselves, right? I mean, I say us, Pisces, barely, midheaven. But yeah, yeah. So anyways, it's just, I just feel like this idea of like, I'm anchored in my vision, and I really, like, I don't want to be locked into anything that limits me in ways that just like, they pull me out of alignment with my vision. I just, like, that's not up for discussion. Okay. Eight of Swords, facing their fear. Three of Wands, going on a trip. Some of my Pisces could be going on a trip. I don't know, because this just kind of feels like facing a fear of lack, right? But I feel like breaking free of this, I don't know, I just feel like this connection to lack, and just really, I don't feel like you're even finding the courage to do it. I just feel like you can't do it anymore. And so you have to do this thing. You have to break free from this bondage that you've held on to because for a lot of you, I think that somehow it presented itself in a way that was like, this is what you really want. And I feel like you bought into that for a while until you realized that, like, at no point in time did you see yourself in that truly. You know what I mean? And so you poof, poof, poof. But I think you've poofed so much that you've created a really strong anchor within yourself. And once that's the case, then you know, you're good to go. Pisces. The Two of Cups, the Fortune Fairy, Page of Swords, Three of Swords, Six of Pentacles. Well, yeah, I mean, I just kind of get this idea of like holding on to something that it hurts to hold on to it. It doesn't nourish you or care for you in any way other than leaving you with thorns, and I just feel like empty hopes and false promises, and I'm just like all of the ick. But you've been working on yourself. You've been working with people who work well with you. Like I just feel like you're anchored in what you're doing, Pisces, and there's just really, I just feel like you're seeing it. You're seeing it play out before your eyes. I just feel like, yay. Pisces. Hierophant, Seven of Wands. Well, I just kind of feel like this, pretty quickly when you're being set up to have to take on a battle. I think when you're being set up for lack. I think when people are trying to manipulate you and talk you into directions that aren't meant for you. And I think that you're so over it that you're done with it, And once you're done with it, there's really not much more to do except for go in the directions that are meant for you. And I love that, Pisces. Okay. The Flame, the Healer, and the Fault Line. Well, because Pisces, you have a vision, you have a direction, you have, an intention of healing, and you have something that you're anchored in. And this faulty foundation that left you feeling like you were holding on to a whole lot of nothing, that left you feeling tapped dry. I just like you're releasing it so that you can do what you really want to do. You can create what you really want to create. Like I can't be held back by some empty idea when I'm trying to actively engage in my life. You know what I mean? Like how does that make sense to anybody? Especially a Pisces. You know what I mean? Like because Pisces are about experience. And if I'm not experiencing life, then I'm not living life. And if I'm not living life and I'm sitting around waiting for something to happen, then the fuck, what a waste of my life. If I'm fighting people to see things my way, like what a waste of my energy, what a waste of my breath. You know what I mean? Like I could be doing so much more with my time with people who actually create healing, like bring a sense of stability and balance that I just think enables your vision to really just like glow up, Pisces. I just feel like this massive glow up. And I love that. I love everything about that. All right, Pisces. Well, if this does resonate with you, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing your energy with me. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye.